Brooklyn, New York. The dawn brings hope for your dreams, even in Brooklyn.
He's Trillo.
He's Suede.
Someone stole my canary.
I need you to find out who murdered him.
Ahoy, Baruch Hashem.
When you've been in this line of work as long as we have, nothing is shocking.
You've never cosplayed?
I did that once. Trillo doesn't do anything that requires imagination.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's Rabbi Lustig. You always get the dames.
They like my style.
I'll keep my schnitzel warm for you.
It was a gloomy morning in Brooklyn, New York. I was already feeling cynical and alienated because I'm expected to be that way in this genre.
I'm Fiona Fatale.
Cheating on a dame like you? Hard to believe, dollface.
What was your grandfather's name?
Peter Piper.
And why did you say cloaked in mystery?
Whose name began with an A?
You're the psychic, you tell me.
I decided to become Jewish so no one will know that I'm black.
How could I keep my mother out of it?
Stop talking into the microphone.
Oh my God, just finish the scene. We'll fix everything in scene 2.
Is that a mezuzah in your pocket? Or are you just glad to see me?
Oh, no, there's a jar of Harry. Oh, in case I need a nosh.
Welcome once again to the Radical Imagination. I'm your host, Jim Vrettos. I'm a sociologist who's taught at John Jay College of Criminal Justice and Yeshiva University here in New York City. Radically imagine present-day Brooklyn, New York. A ventriloquist dummy detective duo are walking in the shadows of the Brooklyn Bridge, having been out all night on a case, walking the lonely streets back to their office as night turns into day. A voice from the twilight calls out, Brooklyn, New York, the dawn brings hope for your dreams, even in Brooklyn. You're now entering into the zone and world of detectives Trillo and Suede, the brilliant film noir parody web series created, written, and executive produced by the gifted ventriloquist, humorist, musician, and actor, Jonathan Geffner. It's a world where you'll meet characters like Mrs. Kaminsky, Jessica Rabbi, Schmedrick, Rabbi Schmutzig Pupik, Mrs. Lustig, Goose, Schlepp, Ezra, Rabbi, Big Boy Chick, Mrs. Itzkowitz, Chloe Cliché, and the alluring, mysterious Fiona Fatale. If you love the Marx Brothers, especially Harpo, are a fan of the 1940s detective noir movies, love Jerry and Elaine and George and Kramer, are a devotee of Larry David and Curb Your Enthusiasm, are a die-hard Woody Allen fan, love a Gershwin score, and the satiric humor of Mel Brooks, you'll love the world of Trillo and Suede. If you're Jewish, conflicted about your tribal roots or not, you'll love the show. If you're a non-Jewish New Yorker and have lived here for a few months, which makes you an honorary one, you'll love it too. The characters are universal. The show has garnered rave reviews and a growing cult web following in the first 2 seasons, winning 38 major awards in international web series film festivals, including Best Comedy and Best Series. They need our support as they prime for a 3rd season. Trillo and Suede is Jonathan's homage and love affair with a quintessential, quirky, timeless New York humanity. Its sweet humor, artistry, timing, and easygoing fun is like watching and listening to a Harpo Marx musical solo. It opens our dreams and hopes to a world we've missed and loved, and one we hope will be kinder and gentler. So welcome, Trillo and Suede, private investigators.
Thank you.
To the Radical Imagination.
Yeah, well, it's nice to be here. We're a fan of your show. You do great interviews. That's why when we got the chance, we got the invite. I said to Trillo over here, we can't miss this. We got to take part in this.
Thank you so much. And I'm so grateful. I absolutely love the show, obviously, your show. And it just so happens that I have a friend who we are starting our own podcast in about a week or two. He happens to be a private investigator. His company is called Black Ops, Private Investigators. And I just was wondering, he has training in the Army. He's been in special ops. He was in Desert Storm. He was a policeman. I'm curious. Now, there's not going to be any competition between us, of course. What were some of your trainings? What were some of your trainings that got you into this field? Have you been in the military, for example?
No, we don't need that because we grew up in New York City on the streets. That's a kind of military guerrilla military training right there.
Exactly. I totally agree. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So real life experiences, we draw upon that, and this is kind of using our wiles and wits to get by, to survive, to learn the ins and outs of how to survive in New York City. That's a great background that serves us well.
Obviously. How did you two meet? How did this come?
We were doing shows in the comedy clubs around the city, around town separate,
Yeah. Well, I did stand-up comedy. Suede did some of that also, and we met there. Our paths crossed. Then we figured, we liked each other's sense of humor, had a kind of rapport, so we kind of hooked up, tried to do a duo thing.
I was resistant at first because I found it kind of demeaning, that traditional dummy thing, ventriloquist dummy thing, kind of humiliating. But I figured, well, we'll give it a try because Trillo really wanted to do that.
Yeah, because I worked with some other puppet partners. Ezra was my main one, and I was kind of used to that, used to having that kind of rapport, and I missed it when Ezra was kind of going out of that whole venue himself. So I met Suede. I persuaded him to give it a chance, and we're doing pretty well around town,
getting a reputation, around the club. Mm-hmm. But it didn't last too long because I really got sick of it, and I figured that's enough. I don't want to do the only way I would do it if Trillo's the dummy, but somehow it didn't work as an act that way. So I called it quits. But we wanted to do something together because we do have this certain je ne sais quoi. And don't ask me what that is.
I won't.
Yeah.
I won't. But
so that's when we decided what else can we do together that we utilize our talents. We both like to figure out mysteries and puzzles and analyze people. We're always talking about people in the club, the customers, the people who frequented the clubs, the managers, the bouncers, and everybody on the streets of New York, the subways.
So we decided, hey, we love to analyze people and things and figure out mysteries. We should be detectives, and the rest is mystery.
Interesting. So did you take any psychology courses in school? Have you been in analysis yourselves?
Well, I don't need the analysis because I know how to self-analyze, and I can figure things out by myself. I'm not neurotic, but Trillo here is quite neurotic.
Yeah, well, sort of like Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud analyzed himself too, right?
Yeah, I guess that started the tradition. But Trillo needs that. He thought he needs it, but I don't know. After all these years, what do you think? What's your assessment of all those times with the therapy? I don't think he's too keen on it anymore, right?
It's true. I've had years of therapy with various therapists, but I come away with a lot of bitterness about the fact that I don't think it did me much good, and I think that it could be a crutch for people. And my real breakthroughs came when I ended therapy, official therapy, and kind of followed Suede's lead with self-analysis, and that with just the psychology of dealing with my very kind of dysfunctional extended family, I think served me well in being able to approach difficult situations, complex problems,
and figure them out together with me. We put our two heads together, and it works even better that way.
Interesting. Suede, did you have also sort of a large dysfunctional family?
Well, I didn't know them much because I know I'm from the Oak family,
Yeah, the Oak family is where he's from.
But I didn't know anybody from that part of the forest because the first thing I remember, I was being carved by this guy Gilmore.
Yeah, Brant Gilmer was the guy who carved him out of oak wood. So he never really knew his family.
I always wondered. I felt like it's a part of my history, which it's a big gaping hole.
Exactly. But it sounds very painful and traumatic. You've come out of it very well.
Yeah, I know. I draw upon that, but I had some opportunities to do some research on my DNA. I decided not to do it because I want to move on. I look forward. I don't dwell on the past like Trillo tends to do. So I look forward. So yeah, there's some hurt there deep inside, but I move on. Yeah, so we kind of influence each other in those two different ways.
Yeah, because I'm more of a kind of frenetic and dealing on the past a lot, and I get obsessed a lot. Whereas Suede here tends to shake things off and just look forward. But we need a balance. So I think between the two of us, we can set a good kind of medium balance.
And these incredible people who come into your office and the cases that you have, that must also take your mind off of the past, perhaps. I mean, these are incredible people that come. Fiona Fatale. I know my partner, Manuel Gomez. I'm very, very happily married, but I know that my partner, my detective partner here, would certainly like to meet Fiona. But these characters that come on in and the cases you have, tell us a little about that because they're fascinating.
Yeah, cross section of New York City. We're there to meet all kinds of fascinating characters because New York City's got all kinds, and they and the weirdest ones and the most unusual and extreme examples, they seem to gravitate to us because we don't advertise, it's word of mouth.
Yeah, that's one thing about us. We never placed any ads. That's why there are rumors that we don't even exist. I mean, people talk about us. Is there really a Trillo and Suede? These guys real? Well, and we like to keep that mystery going, sort of, the kind of allure of the unknown, of being unsure of whether we really exist. And people have to seek us out if they really want our help.
Because we don't want we don't want to get involved in all this cynicism. There's enough cynicism we have to deal with just living in New York City. So when people come to us, we want it to be because they sought us, because they took the time and trouble to find out, track us down, and they want our help, and they're going to appreciate the special kind of talents that we have.
Absolutely. And how can they track you down?
Oh, that's up to them. That's the $64,000 question.
Just wandering around by the Brooklyn Bridge, or
with inflation, it's about $1 million question now.
Yeah. Well, they got to ask around. They got to do their own legwork, ask around, and make inquiries, and do their own little investigation. Right. That shows us that if they find us, that they're going to appreciate us.
Right. Tell us a little about perhaps one or two of your favorite cases that you've dealt with.
Well, our web series is based on real cases.
Yeah. So when you see the web series, we have 2 seasons out now. So it's 20 episodes, each 20 different cases. And they reflect things that really happen to us in our practice as detectives. Case number 1, the Hong Kong Canary.
Yeah. So that's it's in season 1, episode 1. You can see it right there.
That's where we meet, or our audience meets, Chloe Cliché.
It's where we met her the first time, too. It's a reenactment.
Yeah, of Chloe Cliché. She had a family heirloom, which is known as the Hong Kong Canary.
Not an actual bird.
Not an actual bird, but called the Hong Kong Canary, famous throughout Asia. But it's in her family heirloom.
Although she's not Chinese. That's another long story.
Yeah, different story for another episode. We didn't even shoot that one yet. The backstory on that. But anyway, it went missing, and it was stolen. And so it was up to us. She appealed to us to track it down. We meet some interesting characters along the way.
the short version is in the episode you're going to see on the web series.
Yeah, that's a mini version. It's only a 5-minute episode or so, and yet, so you'll see that shortened version. We hope to someday do a feature film, which we've written, also called The Hong Kong Canary, which goes into great detail about the ins and outs of that and who really stole it, and a whole cast of characters and subplots. So we don't want to give too much of that away in case we get to see that movie. But the actual case involves a character called Goose, who's kind of a thug, right?
Yeah, gangster.
Yeah, and he's intrinsic to the plot of what actually happened to the Hong Kong Canary. You'll have to see the episode to actually see the details.
Absolutely. Now, you spent a couple of years in Hong Kong, correct?
Yeah, we did. We hung out there for a while because
how was that?
Well, Trillo here, he was chasing a girlfriend over there, and so he dragged me along, and we hung out there, and we set up office, and we had some cases over there too. And in Hong Kong, of course, we didn't have the Hong Kong Canary case. We had the New York Canary case. But that brought us back to New York. And so here we are again. I finally was able to persuade Trillo here to give up on that dame because he gets hooked on dames. You see, that's why he needs me to set him straight, because he has all these delusions, all his delusions. You know, his main trouble.
Yeah, well, you're gonna say, or what do you think is my main trouble? My main problem with dames is what?
Is that he takes them seriously. And that's the secret of dames are don't take them seriously. So
are you serious? Spade, are you really? I mean, Suede. I'm sorry, because there is actually Sam Spade. You are part of that tradition, that noir tradition. So I'm sorry, excuse me, but Suede, are you that cynical about women? I mean, you don't.
Oh no, I wouldn't say I'm cynical at all. I'd say I'm realistic.
Realistic, huh?
Yeah. So that's the way to go. Hey, look. To each.
Have you been in love though? Have you been in love, Suede?
In love. That's kind of
besides with Trillo, I know.
Trillo's always falling in love. And where does it get him? It gets him bupkis.
Bupkis.
Yeah. Bupkis. Falling in love, there's no percentage in that. It ain't worth it. No, I didn't. No, I haven't been in love. Well, now I almost fell for a couple of dames, but then I shook myself awake and realized the foolishness. So yeah, Trillo, I think he's kind of a hopeless romantic, and the emphasis is on hopeless. So yeah, I try to influence him not to get too carried away with the dames. That's the trouble.
Well, you haven't asked my advice. I would recommend that you stay romantic and not be cynical about maybe more traveling, perhaps going to the Holy Land, because perhaps you'd find your mate there. Perhaps at the Wailing Wall, because Trillo, you also speak Yiddish, correct? And
yes,
Spade?
Yeah, I do, because there's another long backstory. We allude to that a bit in the web series in a couple of episodes. A little brief bit about my backstory. My mother was a Hasidic Jew from Brooklyn, New York, from Borough Park.
Really?
She ran away from home when she was a teenager. And so she cut ties with her whole family there, but she did speak Yiddish. And she hooked up with an Italian guy.
Italian gangster. Mafia hitman.
Yeah, mafia hitman, who I never knew, really. Well, he left when I was a baby, so I didn't really know him. So that's where I get the name Trillo.
Half Italian, but Jewish, according to Jewish law. So he stuck with that.
Stuck with that, yeah, well.
Yeah, the neurotic stuff. Yeah, from his mother.
Well,
crazy mother.
Yeah, but my mother, but she did speak Yiddish to me, and I learned Yiddish from her. So I wound up speaking Yiddish, and really have a Jewish identity
according to Jewish law.
According to Jewish law, if your mother's Jewish,
right?
You are Jewish. Anyway, it's my identity through having really not known the Italian side of my family.
And Suede, how about your family? We haven't really spoken much about them.
Yeah, well, it's
the Oak family, I guess. I know. Not the Oakowitz, but were they Gentiles, as far as you know?
Well, no, not at all. They were They were Jewish oaks.
Jewish oaks.
And
Okay.
that's the only thing I knew about them because I didn't see any kind of evidence except what I was told by my carver, Brant Gilmer, the guy who carved them, just said that when he acquired me, it was from a Jewish forest.
Yeah. All right. Now, this is something that Suede is a little sensitive about. Now, he pretends he's not sensitive. You do have certain sensitivities.
All right, I'll grant you that.
Yeah. Okay. He tries to play it down. But one thing is that he says it's from an oak forest. Technically not. It was from a Jewish cemetery.
Mhm.
And yeah, okay. And also another thing, if we're gonna, full disclosure here.
Well, I guess that's what the interviews are for. This is going to be an exclusive to your
Great.
show, Jim.
Yeah, exclusively. We haven't said this anymore to anyone else. This bits of information. So he comes from a Jewish cemetery, and it wasn't an oak tree.
Yeah,
What we say, we're going to give him an exclusive. A second exclusive, basswood. His family is basswood.
Basswood. Okay.
and I'd like to say oak because who's going to know the difference? And I thought oak sounds a little sort of cooler.
He thinks it sounds cooler, like strong oaks or something, but he's really basswood. So he's basswood from a Jewish cemetery.
The Bassowitzes.
Bassowitzes. So
Wow.
that's what he does know, but he doesn't actually know any other members, anyone else who was carved from that cemetery. But but still, he was.
I think you're both very, very sensitive, and I think you're both very romantic. What about a trip again to the Holy Land? There's people planting trees there all the time. I mean, that might be a nice adventure, and perhaps you did have a friend, didn't you? Yossi, was he a friend of yours at first? An Israeli? Am I correct on that? Trillo?
Yeah, Yossi, he was from our dim, dark past. I remember that guy. He sort of disappeared when I came onto the scene.
Yeah, Yossi disappeared. Suede kind of took his place, and Yossi went off someplace. I haven't heard from him, so yeah, never really what became of Yossi.
Okay.
Yeah, but the connections to Israel, yeah, I've been there a couple of times. Suede hasn't been there yet.
Yeah, I'd like to go though. Find my roots there in a basswood forest.
Yeah, maybe some relatives, long lost relatives. So
yeah, we have to talk to the Jewish National Fund about that. Maybe Tu B'Shvat.
Yeah, and Tu B'Shvat, when they plant the trees there.
Is that the holiday?
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, it'll be a good time to go there and maybe set up a satellite office in Jerusalem.
Absolutely.
Yeah, next to the Schnitzels. I gotta meet those guys.
The series Schnitzel on Netflix?
I was going to ask you, have you been watching that or Unorthodox?
Yeah, those. They're really cool. That makes me. It's quite a coincidence you brought that up, Jim, because I've been thinking about that. Watching Schnitzel. I'd really like to visit there and get back to that part of our roots.
Can you see yourself living in that religious ultra-Orthodox community? By the way, I don't know if you know this, but my last name is a Greek name, Vrettos, but my mother is Jewish too, Russian Jewish. And
there you go. You got something in common with Trillo over here.
Right. And but I also have been to Israel, but I think you guys would do wonderful there. Your humor is, would you say, very Jewish in that sense?
Interesting you mention that, Jim. What do you think?
We actually have a video series, the 7 short videos that we did recently. We recorded discussing the topic called Too Jewish is the name of the series.
Where we discussed that, an open question, are we too Jewish or not? Trillo began to be self-conscious about that because we got a few comments from fans saying, hey, love the show, but word of advice, you guys are too Jewish.
Yeah, we do have a lot of Jewish humor and characters, some Yiddish words sprinkled here and there throughout the show. So we got a few comments like that. Actually, we got a lot more comments from people saying they love the Jewish humor.
And that usually came from Gentiles.
Yeah, usually from non-Jews. We got comments saying, hey, I'm not Jewish, but I love that Jewish humor. But we got a few comments complaining that we're too Jewish. And invariably, what?
Yeah, it's Jews who are complaining we're too Jewish.
Yeah. They complain.
Yeah. Well, kvetching. Jews like to kvetch.
Well,
kvetch about everything.
I know that you have a case to go to shortly with at Rabbi Pupik's Knish store. You've got
a client. We're going to meet with a client.
Yeah. Well, we meet all kinds of clients. I think you alluded to earlier the fact that a lot of femme fatales, a lot of really classy dames, real lookers. And so we have other kinds of clients too, a variety.
Yeah, Hasidic and all kinds.
Yeah, okay. But right now we're going to be
lookers. You saw Schitzel. There were some lookers there.
Oh yeah.
We should get going to the Schmutz and Pupik's Knish store where we're going to meet a client,
and we can't be late for this one because she's a looker.
Okay, should we translate for the non-Yiddish audience what that means? You're going to the Knish store, Rabbi Pupik. Is there a translation for the rabbi, or should we just let that
show? The rabbi's name.
Oh, the rabbi's name. Pupik. Yeah, well, it does mean in that's a Yiddish name, and his I don't know how he got a name like that, but it translates it translates as dirty belly button. That's
dirty button. Well, that would not be good to have. It's better. It sounds better in translation. So listen, I don't want to keep you, but I understand, Jonathan, you're going to come back, and
there's no Jonathan here. Let me straighten something out, Jim. You're under a misconception, a delusion. Jonathan Geffner. I don't think he exists. There's an illusion, a rumor going around that there's this guy Jonathan. Well, okay, the guy exists, but not the way you think.
Yeah, there's this guy Jonathan Geffner who has this illusion that he created us, and that he writes our scripts and stuff like that.
He's a nut job.
Yeah. So, but he's harmless. He's a big fan of ours, and he doesn't exist as our creator. He thinks he does, but we have him around. He helps us set up the website and helps promote us. So
he's a good egg, although he's a nut job.
So he hangs around. He's here right now, I believe, in the next room. So if you can talk to him.
Wonderful. Okay, we'll take a short break. Listen, it's been a pleasure, Suede. I hope to meet you again. You're terrific. Stay romantic, and I know you're going to find the love of your life. I know it. You're very lovable. Love you so much. Take care.
Well, nice to meet you. See you soon.
See you soon, Jim.
Okay, take care.
I could think of only one thing to console myself. As I stood there, burying my sorrows in a challah roll, I looked up, and there she was. I was so shaken that it triggered a relapse of my eating disorder.
It's great, wonderful. So hi, that was so wonderful. We met at Trillo and Suede, and Suede kept telling me that Jonathan didn't exist, but I think he was a little confused there. And you do exist, and here you are.
Well, there are two schools of thought about that. Some people think that that Trillo and Suede created me or my character, and some people understand that I created them. So whatever people choose to believe is fine with me.
Exactly. So I see the piano in the background there. You're a musician as well, and we're going to play a couple of clips. A clip of you playing Rachmaninoff. So you were a very, very serious musician, correct?
Yes, off and on. When in my younger years, I was a serious pianist. I was flirting with the idea of being a concert pianist for a while, but I kept going back and forth between that and other things. We've had many interests. I mean, my main problem with being a concert pianist is that I had too many other interests to dedicate myself enough to that, because that's such a tremendous amount of work it requires to even have a shot at that. But yeah, still, I was serious about the piano. I got a master's degree in piano from Manhattan School of Music, and then promptly became a Yiddish teacher as my main income. Yiddish school director, in fact. Jewish school, but in particularly, a few different supplementary schools, but mainly Yiddish, because I'm actually a Yiddishist, a Yiddish scholar. I speak Hebrew as well, but not as well as Yiddish. So Yiddish is kind of dying language. Some people are trying to revive it, such as me. Many people don't know the difference Hebrew and Yiddish, but Yiddish is the Jewish language, which is from Europe and kind of dying out. But that's my specialty through the years, and I still teach part-time. I teach some Yiddish classes, both adults and kids on occasion, and I do Yiddish translating, also freelancing.
Let's get back to it in just a minute. I wanted to also mention, or have you mentioned, about your daughters, because your eldest daughter graduated from Juilliard and is an opera singer. Is that correct?
Yes.
Your younger daughter, Zoe, who we hopefully will have on a show, helps you out with the show as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, Michelle is my elder daughter who graduated the year before last from Juilliard, soprano, so a classical singer. And unfortunately, the pandemic struck shortly after that. So she put a hold on the whole opera world and performances. So she's eager now to start taking auditions with opera companies to get back onto that path as soon as things open up. But yes, that's the direction she's going in. She's a very gifted singer. And my younger daughter, Sabrina, who she took a leave of absence during this pandemic, but she's going back to school for her second year of college in this fall, School of Visual Arts in Manhattan, where she's a film major, and she's a very talented filmmaker. She's already made some short films of her own, on her own, and that's what she wants to do, is be a filmmaker. She appears as Zoe in the web series in many episodes through seasons 1 and 2. So when you see Zoe there, that is my daughter Sabrina, whose middle name, in fact, is Zoe. So character's name is Zoe.
So in my opening, I did allude to the fact that the show does remind me elements of Mel Brooks comedy, Woody Allen, Larry David, the Marx Brothers, and it does go back to a sort of Jewish anarchistic tradition. And all of these people, as I understand, had mothers perhaps much like your own. And I imagine, Woody Allen too. I was just watching a couple documentaries about his life on Netflix the other night or whatever. And he came from this very, very large, enmeshed sort of dysfunctional family. So to a certain extent, well, mine wasn't quite like that, but my mother was an artist and so on, so on. But again, that influence is there. That energy is there. I can see your mother there, perhaps in the background, good and bad. Was she a Mel Brooks sort of mother here in a sense?
She was quite a character, and she was maybe unique in certain ways, but she also falls into the pattern, the stereotype in a number of ways that you allude to. There is some truth to that. Stereotypes are born of truth that's exaggerated most often, whatever stereotypes usually develop. That's not to justify stereotyping people in real life. But I'm saying that, there are certain cultural, ethnic, societal trends, that are typical or common in different groups in different ways. And the very, very strong, overbearing mother. It's not unique to Jews, of course, but there are a lot of Jewish mothers like that,
right.
One degree or another. So there's some truth to it. And in my case, it certainly was true. I had quite an overbearing mother, and the source of many neuroses through my life I've had to deal with, which I use humor for. It's a self-therapy, to transform that kind of, the various pains and hurts that into something that that feels positive. It's sort of liberating to make something funny, to look at it in a funny way, and to make other people laugh. So yeah, that's comes from real life.
I just need to say this to you, John. You really have succeeded. You have brought such joy and laughter to my life, and I know I've recommended the show to so many people. So you've really succeeded spectacularly to use that medium to deal with. We all have our internal demons, and you've done a magnificent job in dealing with yours through humor.
Thank you. Yeah, I apprecieve that.
No, I really mean it. But I did want to I want to make sure that we talk about this incredible show that you've put on here, the third season. Tell us a little about the When the Village Sleeps novel that you've made, and your hopes to really expand on this, and the need for people to support what you're doing.
Yes. Well, While the Village Sleeps is a Trillo and Suede novel, murder mystery novel that I wrote a few years ago, and it is based on a screenplay that I wrote. So my first priority was and remains to get this produced as a feature film. But I've been looking for funding for many years, not able to do that, not able to find it as of yet. So it's been unproduced. And that's why I decided, after a few years of that, shopping around and trying to get it produced, that I will make a novel out of it. Because I thought this particular script, of the 5 feature films, count them, 5 Trillo and Suede feature films that I've written, and are just waiting to get produced, hopefully. But this one was the most adaptable to be a novel that I thought would work very well as a novel. And I think it does work very well as a novel. So while everyone waits there for this to be actually produced as a feature film, you can enjoy the novelized version of it. It's as an ebook on Kindle, and it's available right now. While the Village Sleeps, you can go to Kindle and download it.
So again, just to repeat, you wrote this incredible novel that you need to and want very much to have produced, and it's always this money thing, and you're trying to get some backers and so on. How can people help you? I know you have 1,400 followers on the website and growing every day.
Yeah. Yes.
How can these people who are going to be watching this show help you out on this?
We have an Indiegogo campaign going on right now until May 3rd to raise funding for season 3 of the web series. So the novel that I mentioned, the murder mystery While the Village Sleeps, which also I hope to produce as a feature film, that's one thing. But right now the Indiegogo campaign is for season 3 of the web series. I self-funded seasons 1 and 2, both, because this was a dream of mine for over 2 decades. I've been trying to get it produced and came close many times. The producers of TV and movies, both from each faction, have made offers to me, but then they always disappeared or they fell through. So I didn't quite get anything produced of Trillo and Suede until I decided I'm going to just go ahead and self-fund it, because I believed so much in the concept that I figured once I get it out there, maybe I can attract a following and funding. So right now, as I'm trying to build the following, I don't know if it's enough yet to be successful in raising the funds for season 3. But if you want season 3 to happen, if those of you who are fans of Trillo and Suede and you want it to continue, then we need your help by joining us in the Indiegogo campaigns before May 3rd. So a few days left for that campaign. And we offer some cool perks for whatever your contributions are. Behind the scenes videos, sneak peeks at episodes before they appear to the general public, a chance to meet us on set, maybe even appear as an extra in one of the episodes, and various other things, video chats with Trillo and Suede. So you can check it out. You go to the link. I don't know, Jim, if you'd be able to post the link later. If not, you can just go to Indiegogo.com and look for Trillo and Suede. You'll see it.
Right. Just Google Trillo and Suede or your name, Jonathan Geffner. That will lead you to what you're talking about.
Best thing is through the YouTube channel, because there you'll see all the videos. You'll be able to enjoy them. Subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell, that little gold bell, so that you'll be notified on future uploads, and enjoy the whole series there. And you'll see the Indiegogo campaign featured right there on the YouTube channel. So the YouTube, it's again, go to YouTube, Trillo, Suede, put it in, Geffner, Trillo, Suede, any of those, it'll come up. The actual URL is youtube.com/c/Trillo Suede. But if you forget that, just go to Trillo Suede, type it in, you'll find it.
But are you having fun with this? Are you having fun with this? Are you having fun doing this?
Well, sometimes it's a lot of fun. It's very exciting because it's something I've been working on and working towards for so many years, and had so many roadblocks and dead ends that stopped me from ever producing anything that I had envisioned. So yes, it's very exciting. The actual shooting, though, is not all fun. I mean, it's also stressful, because each time we shot on it's a very tight budget. We had very little time to play around with, because this is all money. Time is money. It was all my money. So I had a lot of pressure to get this done as quickly as possible and to avoid cost overruns, which there were, and there always are on film shoots. So the fact is, I couldn't enjoy it as much as I would have liked to. I still dream of a situation where Netflix is doing my show, or HBO or something like that, and hiring me, and I don't have to worry about the budget, and so I imagine that I would enjoy it more, because I wouldn't have that pressure, that stress. But still, it's very, I'd say more than fun. I'd say it's very gratifying that I've been able to do this, and even on a tight budget and with all kinds of problems that occurred during production and post-production, but still I'm pleased and I'm proud of the outcome. I think that it's I did a good representation of what I had in mind, considering my budget. Of course, with a huge budget, there are all kinds of other things I could do to make it even more spectacular. But considering what I had to work with, I'm very pleased and I'm very proud of how it
You should be. You should be. I know, very general question, but what have you hoped you've accomplished with this? What do you hope people get from this?
Well, I hope that the people enjoy it. Is just the basic, most important thing. But when I wrote this, I was thinking, what do I want? What would I enjoy seeing? I didn't try to come up with anything that I was thinking from the audience perspective, that, oh, what's going to sell? I hoped it would sell. I hoped that it would go over with, they would develop at least a cult following, that enough people would enjoy it, would go for it. But I wasn't thinking in terms of like, I've got to create something that will get the biggest possible market. No, not at all. And I just hope that what I had in mind, which I had a burning desire to create, that other people would also appreciate that, would and enjoy entering that world that I created, this film noir-esque, film noir parody kind of alternate universe.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it is so magnificent. It really transports you in so many different ways, and it's just funny. I mean, that's the bottom line. It is so funny. You know what? We have 2 or 3 minutes left, and I want to absolutely make sure that your message gets out there. And I know you explained it before, but do so again in a couple minutes, because we're not sure if it all got incorporated into the show. Tell us again how people can support what you're trying to do, how they can reach you, how they can view the show.
Well, main thing is go to the YouTube channel and enjoy the series. The web series because it's free. For now, it's all free. Seasons 1 and 2. You can see all 20 episodes. They're short episodes, by the way. These are just, they range between 5 and 10 minutes each. So, it's easy binge watching. And there are also many other videos on the channel that are not part of the web series. Other videos with Trillo and Suede, and some of my other puppet partners and me. Even some videos now I started to put up of my piano playing. So all kinds of stuff, but mostly focused on Trillo and Suede. Enjoy all those videos there. Subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell, and so you won't miss anything. And then join our Indiegogo campaign while it's still running up until May 3rd. Even past May 3rd, we'll probably be able to make an extension on it. So if you're watching this right now, that it's past May 3rd of 2021, you still might be able to contribute to our campaign. Or if it's way past that time and you're watching in the future, some other time, contact us through the YouTube channel, through our Facebook group, because we'll probably be having some other campaign going for either for season 3 if we haven't been able to do it yet, or for While the Village Sleeps for that feature film that I also am planning to do. So you might be able to join us in various other Trillo and Suede ventures. Check it all out on the YouTube channel. Also join our Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, we have the official Trillo and Suede Facebook group. We have a lot of fun there where I post messages every day and answer questions and post some special videos just to the Facebook group. So join us there on Facebook as well.
We have joined you. We will continue to join you. And thank you so very, very much for being on the Radical Imagination today. We'll be able to show this show before May 3rd. We hope to have you on as well many times in the future. All the best. You're really incredibly talented, and it's just very funny. We're going to get it out there on all our outlets, and do yourself a favor out there. Watch this show. It is magnificent. It is funny as hell. You'll enjoy it. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you so very, very much, all of you, for watching The Radical Imagination. This is Jim Vrettos. We'll see you again on The Radical Imagination next week. Take care.
We're Trillo and Suede.
He's Trillo.
He's Suede.
We're detectives.
Private investigators.
You probably know that already.
Especially if you've been enjoying seasons 1 and 2 of our web series.
It's the winner of the award for Best Web Series in over 20 international film contests.
And also a winner for Best Comedy, Best Noir, Best Music,
and several other awards. We self-funded seasons 1 and 2.
But we cannot self-fund anything further.
So we need your help to make season 3 happen.
And you'll get some cool perks in thanks for your contributions.
Want to get an idea what season 3 will be like? Well, watch or rewatch seasons 1 and 2.
Thanks for your support.
And here's the season 2 teaser.
It was a gloomy morning in Brooklyn, New York. I was already feeling cynical and alienated because I'm expected to be that way in this genre.
I'm Fiona Fatale.
Cheating on a dame like you? Hard to believe, dollface.
What was your grandfather's name?
Peter Piper.
And why did you say cloaked in mystery? Whose name began with an A?
You're the psychic, you tell me.
I decided to become Jewish so no one will know that I'm black.
How could I keep my mother out of it?
Stop talking into the microphone.
Oh my god, just finish the scene. We'll fix everything in scene 2.
Is that a mezuzah in your pocket? Or are you just glad to see me?
Oh, no, there's a jar of Harry. Oh, in case I need a nosh.